816-578-1007 to join us in here, or 800-348-1007. 35192 if you want to send a text. And AlanCoxShow.com. You want to watch there, you can. iHeartRadio app, you can listen there.
I reposted Poundcake's articles from a couple years ago.
Yeah, right. Cody's Corner. Mm-hmm. Those are there. Why I don't like reading is this video from YouTube.
This is like the #1 trending video yesterday.
This is something I can play?
Yeah.
Reading, books, libraries. It's all boring. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not. When I was growing up, it was pretty normal. But now I always hear...
Who is this?
Some girl's got some YouTube channel. She does animations and voiceovers, and she's pretty popular. And this is like shot to the top of YouTube because I think there's a lot of people that are trying to get back into reading right now, and they're having some trouble.
Okay.
People gush about how great it is to bundle up in a warm blanket with, quote, a good book, while the faint light of the fall evening peeks out of their cracked windows and hits their collection of plants perfectly. They've got a warm cup of chamomile tea they've prepared with the Keurig they use daily, and actually, it's a funny story. They were about to get one at Target because they were on sale, but they received one as a gift instead. What a coincidence. And they have a cat. I'm not saying that isn't a poetic life you've got going on over there, but I still don't like reading and have a cat allergy. It's kind of complicated.
Anyway, so she doesn't like reading, and you're saying you can identify with this.
Yeah, and it's not something that's always been the case. I had times where I've been an avid reader, but I've tried to get back into it over the past couple years, and I just cannot focus.
Yeah, but you said that you're an auditory learner, so I would imagine that reading for you wouldn't be that enjoyable.
But he's not reading to learn; he's reading for entertainment.
Yeah,
in this scenario.
But I mean, but
I'm saying
entertainment or learning. I would think that reading for you would not be that enjoyable.
But I've enjoyed it in the past. But it's so hard for me to get to that space where I can like turn everything off and get to the point where I'm just enjoying what I'm reading.
Is it because our brains have just been rewired over the past 20 years?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is that, I mean, you are Captain Streamer over there, dude. You have every streaming service, premium, terabytes, gigabyte, whatever you have of your house for Wi-Fi, that your brain is so wired for immediacy right now, entertainment, that it's not going to sit down. Why would it be like, yeah, let's sit and read for an hour?
Yeah, but I have every streamer too, and I read.
And like, I'm talking like just a few years ago, like I went through a phase where I read like 20 books in 1 month. I was reading all the time.
20 books in a month?
I read a ton of books.
I remember you talking about
it. You read a book a day or a book every other day?
We were on...
How do you read that fast?
It was in like December going into January.
They were comic book.
And we had like 2 weeks off. And I just was like, I read like a bunch of biographies and I read a bunch of I was just reading constantly. Like I had books on my phone and I'd just be reading wherever I went.
What if you did it first thing in the morning? Like you don't turn nothing's on to begin with, so you don't turn anything on. Your alarm goes off, you wake up, and you read first thing in the morning. I feel like I'd
be better doing it as a wind down at night.
Yeah?
That's when I read. Yeah. I'm in the middle I got 6 books going.
How
do you do that, Alan?
6 books, that sounds insane.
How do you take your mind back to...
Because they're all... I used to be a guy that would not start a book until I'd finished the one I was on.
Yeah,
and that's probably a better way to do it. But I don't read fiction, I read nonfiction. So they're all very different books. So I can kind of like going back and forth between... I'm reading a book called... What am I reading?
You can't even remember.
No, well, there's 6 of them. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
They're stacked. I'm reading Howard Stern Comes Again, which is a big book. I'm reading Amusing Ourselves to Death, which is not that big. I'm reading the Marty Feldman biography. I'm reading Never Split the Difference, which is a book on hostage negotiation. I'm reading The Social Contract. I went back and dug into that. And then I'm reading... one more book that I can't recall.
See, reading makes me really tired. When I sit down and try to read, I get sleepy.
That's another thing, too. And then I also...
get so sleepy.
I have to reread pages so much.
Because you're not focusing.
Because I can't focus, because I'm like reading through it, and then I'll read something, and it will take my mind into a different direction.
Yeah.
And I start thinking about this, and it's not even like social media or anything like that. It's just another thought that I start thinking of.
Yeah.
And then before I know it, I'm like 3 pages down. I'm like... I don't know what I just read.
It doesn't have to be even like a book. If I read something like a Facebook post or something like that, and I like it, I will reread it over and over and over again. So like, especially if it's in like an article, I'll read that one sentence. And I'm like, that was really nice. And then I forget that there's like more to read.
Well, it also depends on what you're
that.
reading. Like, even if you're on your phone, if you're reading a lot of news articles, that's still reading.
I mean, I do a lot of that.
And I think a lot of people.
Memes.
No, but I
Memes
think
kind of reading.
I think people.
I guess.
I think
Tweets.
people start digging into a book and they're like, I can't focus. But I really feel like you almost have to just keep doing it to like rework that muscle.
When I find a book that I do like, I can get through it pretty quickly. Like if I'm
what was
really,
the last book that you just devoured?
that I just devoured would probably be when was it?
But was that like it was a pop culture book probably?
Yeah, I think it
Like when I read the Kids in the Hall autobiography, I read that thing in like 5 hours.
I'm Dying Up Here is a book that I read in like 2 or 3 days, and it's about stand-up comedy in like the 70s and 80s. So I read that real fast. I read Don Rickles' biography really fast.
Yep.
I went through
Spades book.
Steve
It's a quick
Martin,
read.
Spades.
Yeah.
I didn't read Spades, but I would like to. So stuff like that, I go once I get pulled in. But like right now, I have a Robin Williams book that I've started a dozen times, and I just get like 2 or 3 pages in, and I'm just like, I don't know.
I feel like something happens mentally when you have the actual book in front of you, and then you could have the same book on like a tablet or something, on like a Nook, if those are still around, if people still use those.
The Kindle?
A Kindle, yeah.
I just found mine, and I went out. I'm like, oh my god, I got to finish reading these books.
People would be like, oh, well, I could totally do this if it's on like a Kindle or something.
The last nonfiction book was Slaughterhouse-Five. I read that really fast. Or fiction book.
Yeah.
Slaughterhouse-Five, I tore through. I reread Animal Farm 1984. I did like some of those classics back in like 2014 going into 2015.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you the last fiction book I read. Because I'm like, what do I want to...
And I tried
Everything
to do,
around me is fiction.
I tried to do Brave New World, and that one was just too boring for me. I read that. I started that one like 3 times, and I'm just like, I can't. It's as gray as it sounds.
What about audiobooks?
Audiobooks are great, but I
can't do audiobooks. I
listen to a lot of podcasts, though. And
Yeah,
I like
it's
to
the
listen to
same thing.
podcasts, and I feel like I get the same satisfaction from those a lot of times.
I feel like the only time of the day when once I'm up and moving, I'm pretty good about like not going back to sleep or not being tired. I feel like that would be when I'd have to read, because if I try to read it at night, I will fall asleep. If I get even 7 p.m., if I sit there and try to read, I'll pass out on the couch.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know if my brain just shuts off for
makes
it.
it really relaxing.
If it's just too relaxing that I get 20 minutes in and my body's like, you're done. That's enough.
Yeah, I think reading is one of those things, too, where people feel like they should do, and you should, but if you don't like it, don't do it. Like...
But that's
But
the
is it
thing,
one of
too.
those things that you can learn to like?
Well, and that's why I'm
Or can I
saying
get-
when people go, "Oh, I pass out," like, well, you kind
I
of got to
get very
keep doing
tired,
it.
yeah.
And
until
you got to keep finding the thing that interests you. Like I read all the Hunger Game books. I went through those really fast, just because they were like easy reads and like
They're for children.
yeah, but they were fun.
I'll
that's
tell you what I reread in the midst of all this was World War Z.
Oh yeah.
Well, the book that they made into World War Z, the Max Brooks movie.
Yeah.
Or book rather, because it was more World War Z. They kind of the Brad Pitt thing. They turned into more of a horror drama thing. But the book was like a documentary book about the zombie apocalypse and what the world governments were doing when this pandemic. It is unbelievable how much real life mirrors what this guy wrote in this book. Yeah, China was trying to downplay it. United States was lying about what was really going on. You know, all these like world things that if you're paying attention at all, you knew is how things were going to lay out if there was a global
That one might be a
pandemic.
little too close to home right now. I wouldn't
Might be.
read that and be like, "Oh, this is relaxing."
Yeah, right.
That's why my roommate won't watch Pandemic, because he was like, I get that all day, every day now. He was like, I don't want to watch a TV show.
Yeah, if
about
you're
it.
in healthcare, I understand, but it's fascinating.
No, he's not in healthcare.
Oh,
He just doesn't want to watch
It's
it.
just
Oh,
on
I
the
see.
news all the time.
Yeah, he doesn't want to look at it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just want to get back to that place where I can read, and like I think I'm not one of the people that's like, oh, I need the book. I actually hate the book. I hate the paper. I'm not a fan of it. I like having it on my phone. I can read on my phone, and I can read quickly on my phone when I'm into whatever book I'm reading. But I just gotta find a book that I can actually be into. And she in this video, she gets to that point where she's like, I started this book a half a dozen times and never got through it, and then finally I gave it another chance and read it in 2 days, and I loved it.
I have been trying to finish a book for the last 20 years.
Like writing it?
Reading it.
Which one?
I wish writing it.
I was like, you've been writing a book for 20 years.
That would make more sense. There's a book called House of Leaves. I've mentioned it many times before on the show. And they, for years, said we're going to make a movie out of this because it's just ripe for making a movie out of it. But it came out in 2000, and I still haven't finished it. It's a very, very...
It was the butler.
It was the butler! Because the book is like a... It's a weird read. It's not linear. It's just a real slog. But the story is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's like a fictional... The book is supposed to be like a diary that this guy kept. It switches between a couple of different people, but it's his diary that this guy kept about this family who moves into this house. And the house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And so they're trying to figure out, and the guy who owned it before went mad, and they're finding his writings. It's this bananas book, and I've had it for 20 years.
And never
and
finished
have
it.
not finished it.
How many pages do you have left?
My bookmark is the receipt from when I bought it. So it's like Tower Records, which is no longer there in Chicago, June 2000.
So then finish it.
Maybe I will. Or maybe I'll just keep
Get
it.
yourself some
Are
chocolate-covered
you
gummy
gonna-
bears and finish your book, Alan.
I'm going to curl. People go, curl up with a good book? No. I'm going to curl up with a bag of chocolate-covered gummy bears. I'll happen to have a book there. What, Poundcake?
I would say, are you going to be upset if it's just like lackluster? Like, if,
It hasn't been so far. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I gotta finish this.
But I'm just saying you waited
Why would
20
I not-
years.
It's not even waited. It's like it's been on a shelf for a while. It's not with my other books. So frankly, I forget that I have it. And then I'll go, I should really finish that.
I'll finish it.
Crazy Truckin' Carl says he can read over 400 words per minute. See, I don't
While
think
he's
you're...
driving, or maybe that's why he crashed all those cars.
Yeah. Hey, stop reading behind the wheel, Carl. Yeah, people who are like, I can speed read, I don't buy that.
I have a friend that had a photographic memory. And
That's different.
he was a genius, man.
That's
He's
different,
probably
though.
saving us right now.
That's the thing, too, is I
Well,
can...
tell him to get on the stick, because
I
so
have-
far I'm unimpressed.
I
went
have
to
different
MIT.
modes. I have different modes of reading. Like, I can read things... Like, if I'm reading an article, I can scan through it real fast and know what's going on in that article. But, like, when I'm reading a narrative, I like to take my time with it. I don't want to race through it. I'm not just trying to get to the end of it. No. I take my time and try and, like, absorb it.
But I'm just saying, when we had, like, exams, like, and he didn't know the answer to a question, he would picture the... This is what he tells me, so I don't know if it's true or not. But he said he would picture the page in his mind, and he would read down the page and find the answer.
What's he do for a living?
I don't know now. I haven't... Last
okay.
I heard, he went to MIT. That I have no idea where he is now.
They call it MIT.
MIT. Yeah.
But yeah, full ride. Genius.
So Carl's reading books behind the wheel and everything's fine. Oh boy, this is a real page turner. Oops. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my, I dropped my book.
What if Carl's the one who takes Cody out on a beach with the semi? When he's 35.
Because he's reading a book?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like...
He's on Edgewater and just right down there, Cody's the only
There it
one.
is,
The only
yeah.
fatality.
I forgot
I
about
gotta
that.
see how this Anthony Kiedis book ends. Oh no.
What you doing? Hit me with a truck!
Oh.
You know, you guys crack jokes, but nothing is impossible anymore.
Oh my God,
Nothing
Cody.
is impossible
You're
anymore.
gonna die from a semi on a beach.
He wants to see the twist. Ooh, Ronan Farrow did get fingered. Oh no.
And then they were like, oh my God. Turns out he was positive for coronavirus. ETC.
Yeah,
So
it's
the
August.
The post-mortem on you is that they're going to find out that you were you were riddled with COVID-19.
You're like, it's probably from the past.
Yeah.
You know, he was just going to go out there and spread it with his sinful ways.
Hey, listen, I know that they have, because of all this, they've pushed back that whole you got to get a new license thing until next year. But the DMV is a great place to catch up on a book because they don't want you having your phones. They're like, no phones.
They don't let you have your phones? I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know.
They say no phones. I don't know that they're really...
It's just while you're in line. Yeah. Like, if you're sitting, I don't think it's a big deal. Because they all have like a whole number system and stuff now too. You can use your phone there because last time I took my daughter when she got her license, you have to sign in with your phone. Like you can like text in to like get your
I haven't
number.
been there in a really long time. Last time I was there, I lost my ID and I had to get a new one, and that was a whole ordeal.
The place I went, you just pull your number like you're at the deli.
Yeah. It was like
That's how it was when I was there as well.
So it's the Parma Heights one, and they have like a whole electronic system now.
Sweet.
Speaking of driving, there was a guy who got pinched in Washington State because he was teaching his pit bull how to drive. They've got a lot of things, Seattle being, for a while, the U.S. epicenter of the coronavirus because that's where it first popped up. And so the cops there, they had a lot more to do when that was happening. Now, they still have to get the regular people who are out there doing dumb stuff. It's not all focused on coronavirus stuff. And so there was somebody outside Seattle. There was a driver who hit a couple of vehicles and then sped away. And so the Stadies went out after him. And they were getting calls all along the route from people who were trying to report this car, a guy in a 96 Buick. They pull him over. And the guy's pit bull was in the driver's seat. And he was steering and working the gas pedal from the passenger side.
Why?
I can't believe Mr. Worldwide never learned how to drive.
I know. He's too busy up on rooftops trying to inspire all of us. 51-year-old Alberto Tito Alejandro, good Irish boy, was booked on multiple felonies,
Oh,
including...
that's not the dog's name?
No. I am Alberto Tito Alejandro. You killed my father. Prepare to die. They threw out the spike strips and stopped the car. And he told our troopers that he was trying to teach his dog to drive.
Oh, he was in the car with him?
Yeah, he was working
He
the
was
gas
working
pedal
the
and
gas
steering
pedal and the
wheel.
steering wheel from the passenger side, where the scrubs sit.
People risk their life in such weird ways.
I know, I love it.
Like no wonder these people aren't worried about coronavirus. They're teaching their dogs how to drive. You think they scared of some virus?
In his defense, they did not ask him his thoughts on the coronavirus.
How did the dog do?
They said that
He
the
hit a bunch of cars.
Hit a bunch of cars. The female pit bull, which was not aggressive toward the cops,
Oh, what bitches can't drive.
was put in. Yeah, female drivers had been placed in an animal shelter. So there you go.
That's sad.
It's not like the guy was taking care of it. He's trying to teach it how to drive.
Yeah, but it probably
So
was.
probably because in his mind he's like, this way you can go and get me beers.
They should teach it to skateboard.
Yeah,
Dogs
Spuds
can skate.
McKenzie.
No, but that's been done, Bill. He's trying to do what hasn't been done.
Just saying.
He's groundbreaker.
Baby steps.
Nah.
Have it fly a plane.
We have bureau chiefs in the greater Minneapolis area, and Bush Beer is doing something for people who adopt or foster a dog from Midwest Animal Rescue. They're donating a 3-month supply of their beer. Do you like Bush Beer? I didn't even know Bush Beer was still a thing.
My uncle drinks that.
They're only doing
Bitter beer face.
Is that what it
Remember
was?
those commercials? Well, they were the ones that wouldn't give you
The
a
non-bitter beer face.
Yeah, but I remember that commercial from the 90s where it'd be like, bitter beer face. You tired of bitter beer face?
I didn't know that was Bush.
Yeah, that was Bush.
So in the Minneapolis area, the Twin Cities, I guess, Bush Beer will offer a 3-month supply of their beer to anyone who fosters or adopts a dog. Wouldn't this have been a better promotion for fosters?
Yes.
They're doing this for their
Oil
reality
cans?
show.
What reality show?
The Bush family has a reality show.
They do?
They do now.
What's it called?
It's not that. It's my Bush.
Bush Family Brood.
That's my Bush.
That was a.
That cartoon?
That was a live action show.
That's my Bush?
That-
Comedy Central
Yeah,
sitcom?
yeah.
What am I thinking of? Our Fake President? Where the
Something
cartoon
like that.
is?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
What's it called, Poundcake?
The Bush Family Brood, and it's premiering on
Really?
April 2nd at 9 p.m. So might be a
How do
publicity
you
stunt.
know about that?
Because I saw it advertised. I saw
Family
the
Brood, Brewed. I get it.
Brewed, because they brew beer.
Bush Family Brood.
Brewed the beer. The Bush beer.
Wow.
I had a dream that we were sent to Milwaukee to do some sort of beer thing.
Amazing dream.
Yeah, it was like we went to like a baseball game because the Indians were playing the Brewers, and they had this big thing where we were supposed to go out to this during the 7th inning stretch and like chug a bunch of beers or something. It was crazy.
What a great dream.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so well rested. I dreamed we went to Milwaukee. Was Robin Yount there to welcome us?
No.
I'm not relapsing for a show trip. I'd just like to throw that out there.
No, you didn't have to drink with us.
I got you to do the announcements.
Yeah.
Got it.
The list indeed. All right. Well, also new tonight, the Bush family getting its own reality show.
A teaser for the show following the descendants of beer king Adolphus Bush was just released today.
Meet the Bushes.
I'm Billy Bush, and this is my wife, Christy.
Billy Bush.
Like the Billy Bush?
Is Bush beer out of Minneapolis or St. Louis? Or
I think it's St. Louis.
I was going to say it's part of Anheuser-Busch, right?
I can introduce myself.
Okay.
This brood is American beer royalty.
Our business is beer. I think I want to do a little research for the company.
And with
there's a shirtless dude. That's why you paid attention to it.
No, I didn't even know that until I saw it. He's not cute. He looks weird. But
7-pack of kids.
In a family this big, things can get crazy.
This fam is wild. This fam is loaded.
If you're interested, the Bush Family Brood airs on MTV on March 5th.
Huh.
Oh, so it's already on. I thought
Wow.
See, I didn't even know. I didn't even watch it. I thought it premiered in
Bush
April.
Family Brood.
I wonder how it's doing with all the ratings.
Well, then they're not doing this for the reality show if they're...
Any promos, good promo.
I guess you're right.
I mean, they need the...
It's got us talking about it, so now we know about the reality show.
Yeah, other people were texting me. They got a reality show on MTV. Again, MTV is so off my radar.
It's off everybody's radar.
Well, plus Hulu doesn't carry any Viacom channels, so no Comedy Central, no nothing like that.
But I feel like if you're that rich, why do you even want a reality show? Like, their family has hundreds of millions, I'm sure.
Well, you're not doing it for the money. You're probably doing it because you're trying to get... It's just a big commercial for your product.
Yes, but I'm not going to say they don't need commercial, like, they don't need promotion, because obviously you want to promote your product. But they're doing just fine.
Well, and the company is owned by the Germans, I think. So it's not their company anymore, but they're still loaded. Like InBev, I think, is the company that owns that whole thing. Bitter Beer Face was Keystone Beer.
Keystone. Okay, I'm sorry. But
And who could forget that?
Do you remember those old commercials when they'd like take a sip of beer and they get like this weird...
Their lip
fake-
would go over
yeah,
their face.
and they go,
or-
yeah.
They hired some really ugly guy to make the face.
You're waiting for your blind date. You're scanning the room. You've got minty fresh breath and you're oozing charm. Then it hits you.
Larry?
It's largely visual, obviously. He's drinking bitter beer. And his
Keystone Light.
hot, foxy blind date shows up. And he's unfortunately just taken a sip of that bitter beer. And so when he turns to her to say, "Yes, I'm Larry," not only does he not speak because his face is contorted, this young woman runs off, dejected and spurned, all because this guy didn't choose the proper beer.
I feel like they could bring that whole campaign back because of the rise in like IPAs and craft beers and be like, hey, you don't want these craft beers that make your face all weird. Drink a Keystone Light.
There you go.
Tastes like water. No
Do you-
bitter beer face.
Do you want
bitter
your
beer face? Ugh.
Do you want your face to be contorted when your blind date shows up? If we ever get to hang out with each other in public again,
Exactly.
if that's ever a thing again, you don't want your blind date to show up and you're all gross and nasty, do you? Blind dates, remember those?
I never
When
went
you
on
get
one.
fixed up with a blind girl, Bill?
I never went on one.
Oh, come on. You never
You
went
never
on a
had
blind date?
No.
Really? The last guy I went out with was a friend of a friend who's like, you guys should meet. You guys should go out.
Oh my gosh, my blind dates are always so dusty. I hate it. I
Really?
hate blind dates. Oh God, I hate
I guess
it.
I've only been on the one.
I've been on two, and it's
Dusty meaning what?
Gross.
Yeah, just gross. It's always like one girlfriend, she has one other gay friend, and because she has one other gay friend, she thinks that we'll automatically be compatible. I hate it. And it's,
It's The Office. I know they're the only two gay guys I know, but they should be together.
Right.
oh my gosh, it just makes me so angry. I'm like, what about him did you think would attract me to him, or vice versa?
You're gay.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
like,
all
you,
you need.
you guys both. I was like, we still have types. Like we both have things that we like in a person. We can't just be gay.
I'm
She's
just
like,
trying to help.
but she's terrible. I mean, don't help.
That's what gays do. Munch butts and celebrate Halloween.
So she doesn't get any points for trying to help.
No, because I didn't ask for help. I didn't need it. I feel like she had her like sloppy gay friend. Apparently, I was the good one.
But her intent was
to get her lonely fat friend out of the house, and it wasn't going to be with me. I was like, oh great, so I guarantee you I'm picking up this bill, like, and so
lonely fat gay friend.
Oh man. So
is there terminology for that in the gay community? Well, it's the duff in hetero communities.
I mean, I'm sure it has a name. I just avoid it at all costs. So I don't really get too close.
Any chance that person could have been saying the exact same thing about you?
Could have. And I'm on my way to be the fat, lonely gay friend, especially after quarantine.
I was going to say, that's going to take on a whole new significance for you.
I was super shallow back then. That was in college.
Back in his
shallow days.
Super shallow back then.
My ego was to the moon. Like
it was to the moon.
It was.
Now it's back.
Yes, ever since he's been on the radio, his ego has deflated considerably.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Why was your ego so...
dies in car accident.
Front page.
Why was your ego so big back then?
Oh, because I was killing the game. I had like a revolving door. I never won it for any D. Like
I see. Just because of sex.
College, I was in my prime. Everyone in my vicinity was. I knew they were all gay from Grindr or whatever.
You think you peaked in college?
I definitely peaked.
So sad.
I was just thinking that. I was like,
really?
Damn, man.
Well, I mean, big lips, my dear. I don't get it every day like I used to in college. Every day it was like. That's why I had them.
But
come
that's
through
just
my window.
that's proximity.
Yeah.
Adults got to work for it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And now it's impossible.
I definitely peaked for sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cut that one
bum
out.
you out?
Quality is
614.
Yeah, it definitely bums me out. But quality, I'm getting more quality now than I was.
But I feel like
quantity.
that's up to you.
Well,
if you peak.
Okay, well,
you can become a better version of yourself.
I'm not saying good.
I like to think that my peak has yet to happen.
I'm not saying
because I am a delusional individual.
Same.
Yeah, I was slaying left and right.
I mean, granted, I have more criteria than just slaying.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Did you peak
my
or
sex
did you?
peak is behind me for sure.
Did you peak or did you just have a slut phase?
My slut phase. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Those are different things.
That's different,
Peaking as a person and having a slutty phase should not be the same thing.
No. I'm sorry. Then I said it wrong.
All right, I have my slut phase already. I have not peaked.
My slut phase was in college. That's what I was trying to say.
So I just called in to just writing some, just getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of slut faces, revolving doors.
All right, let me break. I'm going to get the last word in. Shoot me a text, 35192, and we'll be back after these.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And every